I don't know if I'm pronouncing this person's name correctly, but I think most viewers and listeners will recognize who we are talking about. What are your thoughts on Elon Musk's hire for the Twitter CEO, Linda Yaccarino?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
A couple things to say here. One, by the numbers, this is a terrible choice from the point of view of Twitter's well-being, I think, and from the point of view of Twitter's credibility in the eyes of those of us like me who have championed this as a potentially important step in the direction of a free speech platform that, zero is a special number is an important concept, and this seemed like a departure from zero. That said, I do think that the right approach is to give Linda Yaccarino the ability to surprise us. I'm ready to be surprised. I am most concerned about her association with WEF, which is, of course, a huge red flag for many of us. I'm also concerned about her overt stance on COVID measures. I will say it happens that we know somebody who knows her, somebody who has worked at NBC, still works at NBC, and is a prominent COVID dissident who retained their job through the pandemic in spite of being a prominent COVID activist, in fact. And that is apparently not the only story from inside NBC, where people who departed from the conventional wisdom survived there in a way that people did not survive in other similar locations. So there's a possibility that Linda Yaccarino is mercenary, but behind the scenes has protected people who stood up. I don't know, but that is at least a possibility. I don't know what you do about the World Economic Forum connection. That is such a toxic organization that I don't know how you would ever know that somebody was free of it. And if they're not free of it, I don't know what happens when they come through the door of Twitter in the position of CEO. That seems very dangerous. But nonetheless, again, I do think being open to being pleasantly surprised is the right approach. But I won't be surprised if this goes bad quickly and she's out and it gets changed. Somebody else gets put in that role.
Well, I haven't done much looking, but I did just look at her timeline on Twitter, because if she's going to be the next CEO of Twitter, her timeline on Twitter would seem to be something to look at. And I might have thought that it would have a lot of new things since she became aware of what her new job was going to be. But I can't say I'm impressed. Zach, if you would show, this is not, it seems to be entirely unrepresentative piece. This is from, a few days ago. This is a retweet from, Peacock, which I guess is about NBC, getting all my Kentucky Derby hat inspo from these ladies with pictures of women in stupid hats at the Kentucky Derby and just looking like apparently the Real Housewives of Orange County. Some of these outfits could have worked at the Met Gala, she says. So to me, this does not look like a serious human being. Maybe this is just her, the one thing that she does for fun. She likes hats. She likes to think about fashion. I don't know. But it feels to me like we are in a world of, such regressive gender roles. Like, how is it that we simultaneously have Dylan Mulvaney parading around pretending to be a woman, and half the country is going like, yeah, you go, girl. And the new CEO of what's supposed to be like the free speech platform, but I'm not seeing it, who's tweeting these ridiculous, regressive, stupid pictures from, she also has tweeted, it looks like she actually cares about the Kentucky Derby, and there was the winner this year was a 38-1 odds against. Cool. Interesting, right? But the hat and fashion garbage is absurd. And, if she comes in And one of the first things she does, for instance, and I've said it before, but is takes off the censorship on Substack that Twitter is now engaging in, and no one is admitting or talking about, but it's just patently clear that you can no longer basically shunt people to Substack through Twitter unless they are really, really driven to do so, because they don't show up as good embedded. They don't embed anymore, right? I don't know why we're talking about it as a free speech platform at the moment, frankly, because it looks petty and ridiculous. And if the new CEO is more interested in stupid hats than in not engaging in censorship, I'm not impressed.
Yep. Well, I can't imagine that this was done without
there was considerable thought put into it.
Considerable thought, so, which makes the paradox
I hope
of
we are
it,
surprised.
I hope we are surprised.
Absolutely.
And I also just have to say, it is very easy for those of us on the outside not to understand the full dimensionality of the problem of doing what Elon appears to be trying to do. Mm-hmm. And so the point is, if we're looking at 4 trade-offs and he's looking at 20,
sure,
right? We may not understand why this move made sense. I find it hard to imagine that anything in that basket of things that we business normies can't intuit overcomes an active connection with the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. Just hard to imagine. But who knows what we don't know?
Who knows what we don't know? I hope we find out.
Yep.